All right, we recording. All right, just come for this quick discussion, right? And basically, to our surprise, me and Ali. Well, is it a surprise? Not quite
Uh,
this week, because smart basketball people didn't really think the Lakers was going to be here. I didn't think the Lakers was going to be here in the first place.
no,
You know what I
no.
mean?
Considering like the moves they made in the off season on
The fit.
um the names and the different other dynamics surrounding what they was doing in the off season, you would have think that they would have been like at least at minimum the third seed in the West, but
At least,
things ain't been playing out like that.
right? But if we go off what everybody was saying before the season started, everybody thought that they was going to be number one.
Right.
But he thought they would be like a quick trip to the finals. Count the West though. If we go off the media, but what they in, like 10?
They are. I think they are in. I'll tell you right now. The Lakers are currently in the ninth spot. They're four games behind the Clippers in the last column. Barely,
barely even playing. You know what I
barely
mean?
even playing.
But so let's talk about that then. So what happened? From your standpoint, I can give you the floor. What you think happened to the 2021, the 2022 LA Lakers? Why they in first?
The one word I have for it before I start is they just a disaster. I mean, and that's why we shouldn't believe in media propaganda, because if you ain't an avid basketball fan and you ain't been watching basketball for years, you could have known from the get-go that the team was one poorly constructed, because the history of the game tells you that if you have a bunch of old guys on one team, ain't no defense can be played. That's number one.
How we see that? How they see that? Anyway, go ahead.
Another thing, I think the health of Anthony Davis definitely has a key role in this little debacle that been going down with the Lakers. But the number one concerning thing for me about this team is, I mean, you all knew this was going to happen, because okay, if it went out, the media wanted it to go where, like you mentioned, the Lakers would have won a championship. LeBron would have been praised for putting this team together and being the one that caused, like they say in Westbrook ain't a winning player, right? But the headline would have been LeBron take Westbrook to a chip, and he's the greatest of all time if he got Westbrook to win. Right. But on the flip side, if everything went south, which in now things are going south, Westbrook would have been the fault guy and the scapegoat for this whole situation. And that's exactly what we're seeing now. Like, I think it's getting to a point where Westbrook becoming mentally unstable, because I feel like instead of attacking his game, fans attacking him personally as an individual. So
that's a good point.
That's where I at now with the Lakers. But in terms of, I mean, you could look at the coach, you could look at the players, you gotta look at the roster, but that's how I feel. And everyone think I is a LeBron James hater, and I am not. I think LeBron James is the second greatest player of all time. Like, nothing could change my mind towards that. But I feel like
off like half of the world just now.
Yeah, like,
how they go.
I know how LeBron fans do. But if I have to say this, if we praise LeBron for his teams when they win, we have to criticize him for the season the Lakers have been up in. And mind you, all ain't his fault. He doing what he can do, but his demeanor and his body language, it doesn't spell leader or second greatest player of all time, in my opinion. But that's all I have to say about the Lakers. If you want to add to that.
But he feel defeated though. Like if you was in that position, speaking, like, let's say you was LeBron, right? And you LeBron don't be in 10th, 9th place ever. Wouldn't you feel defeated?
But I look at it like this. This the roster you yourself put together. Like,
I don't think you put the whole thing together by yourself though. You think that it was all LeBron making a decision? Remember, he could say, I like this player, I like that player, but could he sign that player? No. So Rob Pelinka, whoever in the front office, they got to kind of take some responsibility for this roster too.
But
It was
yeah,
looking at other players.
They have to, but at the end of the day, you gotta look at the influence and the cachet LeBron has. Because
sure.
okay, if they don't keep him happy, right, he could just decide, okay, all the time I invest here, he still is a top 10, top 5 player. If we won't go top 5, he still is. But look at this, you think the Lakers want to lose a top 10, top 5 player, albeit even though he's still 37, you think they want to lose that? So they have to keep him happy at all costs. So
you think he was
in
going
that
anywhere?
sense,
You think he would have tried to force? You think he would have tried to force his way out if they didn't comply with, you know what I mean? His suggestions.
honestly, I mean,
you know what I mean?
I wouldn't like to use the term force his way out because
it
I never
be
see really
no other
LeBron
way.
force his way out. You
It
know what I
wouldn't be
mean?
no other way to get out. He can't just like, he'd have to say, trade me. That's forcing his way out, basically.
I mean, but see, now this is the one thing I give LeBron credit for. I never see LeBron request a trade. I always see him play out his contract, to be honest with you. I never really see LeBron request a trade. And that's one thing I have to give him props for. Like in Cleveland, he been trying to get some help in Cleveland for years. And he's like, okay, this ain't working. He leaving free agency. Same thing with Miami. He left in free agency.
He plays straight.
So I have to give him that.
You have to give him that. He's suffering, but he taking the punches though. He handling it pretty good, better than I would, because bro, I would have, you know what I mean?
But I mean,
bro,
I understand the frustration you speaking about because LeBron at this stage of his career, 37, like he can't have a wasted season. He can't have a wasted season. So
that's why
his frustration coming from. His frustration coming from, he knows his time soon up in this league. Yeah. You know what I mean? That's where his frustration coming from. The window, I'd say.
Understandable though. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And like it's like I don't want to get on Russ, but I feel like he don't really like value.
All right, I was saying that in Russell Westbrook's situation, and I think this is so key, I think he just get lost in the shuffle because if we look at it from a pure basketball standpoint, Russell Westbrook and LeBron James does exactly the same thing for teams. At least LeBron is more efficient at what he does. Like they rebound the ball, they score the ball, and their usage rates are extremely high because they facilitate their team's offense. Russell Westbrook got lost in the shuffle because LeBron takes a second seat to no one. So if Russell Westbrook and LeBron to no one.
What shuffle? Like how
rightfully so.
You didn't get the memo though? Like what you mean? How you didn't get the memo?
Watch this. This crazy, right? Russell Westbrook on the season shoot 28% from three. You know, if you playing with a LeBron-led team, you have to be at least a manageable outside shooter. And Russell Westbrook has never been a great three-point shooter. Since the All-Star break, Russell Westbrook been averaging 11% from three-point range, which is absolutely horrible. And not on Russell Westbrook.
Oh.
But I think, this is what I think. I think the team as a whole has been underwhelming, but I think Russell Westbrook getting all the blame. That's how I feel. But as far as Russell Westbrook play, he hasn't been playing. He hasn't been playing good for.
He's doing the most garbage though.
Yeah,
the most garbage, you're gonna get blamed, bro. It's like I don't know if like we noticed who Westbrook was, right? But in the previous years, it's like it didn't have this much light on it. Maybe because the team he was on.
Yeah.
Now you in the Lakers, the Showtime Lakers, everybody could see you freaking every night, bro. This ain't no, you know what I mean?
That's what I'm saying. You in a small market, okay?
This ain't Wizards. This ain't the Wizards, bro. We seeing you airball shorts.
But and they getting so much TNT games, so much, you know what I mean? All the media attention there because this team had the most expectation.
We're supposed to be the champions.
So, but okay, I put it like this, right? A large portion of the game has to go to Russell Westbrook. Why? Because Russell Westbrook is a top 75 player all time. You can't take that away from him. And if he was a top 75 player all time, you have to be critiqued and judged as such. And your play hasn't been reflective of a top 75 player of all time.
Like
that's simple.
Like he ain't changed nothing. It's like, bro, nope. It's a different situation. It never changes anything, bro. It's like you can't win. You ain't
when exactly
you can't be chucking up threes, bro.
Like, and I think his attitude towards everything is like kind of what really pissed fans off, because his attitude is like, oh, I'm not changing, and exactly. Like you telling the fans that you ain't working on your craft. You know what I mean?
Okay, right.
You ain't working on your game.
So with that being said, is it warranted, some of this criticism?
It is, but okay, I'll say it like this. The criticism is warranted, but the personal attacks aren't, because you should keep it strictly basketball.
No, yeah, you shouldn't. I mean, I get that. If that's what you're talking about, okay.
Yeah. But your perspective is coming from a place of his play on the court.
Yeah.
Strictly his play on the court. Yeah, it's been bad.
I ain't crazy like these sideline
fans. Yeah, like you were talking to family and
it's talking about your wife and all. Nah, I ain't on that. But in terms of on the court,
yeah, I agree.
Exception, bro. It's like, come on, Russ, dog. You good at so much things. Whatever you mainly good at, you need to like focus on that. Like you remember when Russ? Remember back in the day, it's probably like 7-8 years ago. Russ was deadly from like that free throw area. Remember, he used to
free throw line extended
and just hitting them. He was deadly from there. What happened?
I don't know.
Why you can't do that? Why you shooting threes, bro? You shoot 28%. Why are you chucking up 3-pointers?
But the thing is, I think Russell Westbrook is trying. Okay, it's a two-edged sword. He's trying to adjust and adapt to the new style of play that has been implemented these past few years, because now everyone's shooting threes. But I feel like you say, in OKC, free throw line extended, he was deadly from that area, because then the league didn't take as much trees. But everyone trying to chuck up and shoot a bunch of trees now. But he never was that player.
You ain't that guy.
That
when
was
Michael Jordan. Now, I ain't trying to compare him to Michael Jordan, but when Michael Jordan entered his 30s, like 31 plus, Michael Jordan wasn't Air Jordan no more.
No,
Jordan was a kill you. He was a post shooting guy, yes. which is mind-boggling. But we ain't on that today. But he changed his game though. Like he did. Kobe do the same thing. Remember Kobe used to be dunking on people, you know, early 2000s. But guess what? Kobe gone, put his back to the basket, and he perfect the mid-range, just like Jordan. It's your time. It's Russ time to do that, bro.
This is my thing. I think like and I like your Jordan analogy. I think Russell Westbrook. I don't want to say this because I don't want to question.
I know where you going.
But I don't think Russell Westbrook is a student of the game like how Kobe or Michael Jordan was, because like you say, you used the tale of two careers. The first 3P Jordan was Air Jordan. He getting in the paint, he dunking you, and you know what I mean? But the second 3P Jordan was more cerebral, like the footwork, the in-between game, the mid-post, the fadeaway, like everything was just tactical. Same thing with Kobe. But Russell Westbrook just been playing one way his whole career, like speed, like fast.
But and he getting older.
No, exactly.
You notice when he dunking and he go to dunk, kind of gotta push the ball in. Like he ain't above the rim no more. Pushing the ball, he's stuffing it in now. So it's like, yo, I'm shoot a mid-range jumper, bro.
But
you ain't like that no more.
How could you tell him to shoot a mid-range jumper if
you missing everything else?
You missing like that, and the thing is, you know what I think it affecting too? His confidence as a pro player.
Because he missing layups. He missing layups. Russ missing layups. Over the rim lay. I said, whoa, Russ. What you doing, yo? I feel kind of bad for him. I really understand, like, yo, this thing really, his confidence short right now, bro. Short.
And I think I think as the season goes on, but ain't much games left in the season now. And they already give us a large enough sample size to know what their level of expectation is. Right now, that level of expectation right now is to get in the play tournament. Now that we touch on LeBron and we touch on Westbrook, what do you think about the other guys, and the coaching staff?
What you mean, the Lakers?
Yeah, Lakers.
What other guys? I think the same thing I think from the beginning, bro. Y'all can't play D. That's it. That's what I always thought. Bro, we have a group chat, right? We have a group chat where we always discussing everything that happened in sports. From the beginning, a few of us is like, this ain't gonna work, bro. These bunch of old guys, they can't play D. Like, how people couldn't see that? All y'all looking at is big names. So that make me, I kind of questioning the integrity of the media. Like, what y'all being paid for? Pay me. I know. I saw this coming from the beginning. I know. I knew this wasn't going to be like how they say it was going to be.
No.
Crazy.
Not at all.
And I think a bunch of old past their prime players in this league where you got to be trying to chase around Steph Curry and you got to
Steph Curry, Giannis, Devin Booker, them guys.
Giannis, defense is what you need, bro. And that's what those teams playing. They ain't just good offensively. They at least decent in the defensive area.
Defensive end, exactly.
Far below average, bro. And you can't win. Defense wins championships, bro.
It's cliche, but it's true.
It's the truth.
It's the truth.
100%. Yeah, cliche, whatever. Yeah, we always hearing that. It's the truth, bro. It's the truth.
And I don't
all that offense Mahomes had last year couldn't beat Brady. But it wasn't Brady he was playing against. He was playing against Todd Bowles and that defense. All that offense. They lose still. Kill them.
That's true.
And they couldn't stop Brady. So defense, don't matter what, they're going to win you a championship. Just look at every championship won. Defense was most a defensive play.
Even look at the Warriors with Steph Curry. Like, people say, they look at Steph Curry and Klay Thompson and their ability to explode, but people forget their first championship, they think they was like the #1 ranked defense.
It was defense, bro, especially Klay and Draymond. So, with that being said, I surprised they in ninth, but I didn't see them being this bad. Like, I didn't think they would be good on defense originally, but they just horrible, bro. It's like, come on,
another problem. Their biggest problem ain't even defense, and this will become as a shock to you. Their biggest problem is taking care of the basketball. You
add about 6 turnovers. You add 6 from you add Russell. That's about 6 extra turnovers.
Yep,
right there.
Yep.
And LeBron, let's be honest, LeBron will be turning the ball over too.
Yeah,
I
think since the All-Star break, he like second in the entire league in turnovers, something like that. I don't know.
Ball over too. I don't know what happened to him, but
LeBron always been a high turnover guy, because
he wasn't always low,
Right, because he has the ball a good chunk of the time. But like you even say, your major point was defense just now, right? Look at guys like Russell Westbrook, Carmelo Anthony, never in their careers they've been defenders. You expect them to play defense now?
Put them together, right? Like you just put them together, right? Like
LeBron can't escape this either. LeBron hasn't made an all defensive team in 8 years.
Oh no!
8 years.
See, that ain't the issue. We know that. He know that. Everybody know LeBron ain't playing D like he old now. He ain't playing D like he's supposed like he was back then. We kind of discount that. That's a wash because nobody, not even him, expect to play defense on that level anymore. It's the guys around him who kind of had to help him. And then going into the next point, which is why you get rid of all these prominent
defenders, 2-3 guys. Yeah.
You know what I mean? The guys who's playing the outside, Caruso and Kuzma, KCP. What you get rid of these guys for? You see how important they is now?
Even Donnie Green.
You see how important they is now?
Yep.
Wow.
And on top of being one of the best perimeter defensive teams from that 2020 championship team, bubble championship team. I look at their pink defense with JaVale McGee, Dwight Howard, and Anthony Davis. They was monsters in the pink too. It wasn't just the perimeter. So they had 3 7-footers who could come in and give them quality minutes and lock down the paint, feeding off of the perimeter defenders like you mentioned, Caruso and KCP. So on top of losing those guys, they lost JaVale McGee and they lost Dwight Howard. Dwight Howard back on the team now, but what's his importance in a game if he can't give you quality minutes if you always down in the game? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that 2020 team had a perfect mix of superstar talent mixed with role players.
Bro.
And I feel like they just
you know what? I like you put it like when we talk in a group, you always put an asterisk next to the 2020 bubble championship.
I do.
I understand because the Heat didn't even belong there. My team, that's my squad. We didn't even belong there, bro. Honestly, we get there off all hard, right?
Yeah.
But we still could have win. We still, like, if we had our full squad, we still could have win that championship, bro.
Yeah, and people think it's far-fetched, and I laugh at them,
bro,
because the Heat was missing us. The Heat, okay, Goran Dragic for that playoffs, especially in the Boston series, he was huge in the Boston series. I want to bring it up.
I don't know
People
why.
say, "Oh well, LeBron won sport championship." Fine, I don't like to use injuries as a kind of, because okay, I'm a Kawhi Leonard fan, right? And people always bring up, "Oh well, if KD was there on the 2019 team, they would have won." Well, of course they would have won, because who would have beaten that Warriors team with KD on? Who? You know what I mean? So I don't like to use injuries, but people act as if not having Bam and Goran wasn't a big deal, and it was a big deal. It was a big deal because Bam after that year was an all-star, and Goran Dragic that year led the Heat in scoring in the playoffs, if I remember correctly.
That's true. Yeah.
So having your leading scorer not being able to play, having Bam for like 2 games out of 6, and they still pushed them to 6 games.
And even within the games that we lost, they wasn't beating us by like 15. They wasn't even beating us by 10. They was beating us by less than 10 points and stuff. They was
exactly.
It wasn't killing us. Like you could have seen where like we was missing a couple players, bro. So
yep.
You go from to bring it up back in full circle. You go from that team that was excellent defensively. Now you bring in you take all the perimeter defenders out, Caruso, KCP, all them, and you bring Russ, and you bring Melo, and you expect it to go somewhere. How?
No way.
How?
And then you got guys like Wayne Ellington, who never was a defender. He's a very good 3-point shooter. But guys like Wayne Ellington and some other names who I don't even know them. And then Malik Monk been playing okay, but he been playing pretty good.
He ain't consistent. Like, up and down.
Yeah, it's up and down. And then Taylor Horton Tucker. I don't know what to say about that contract. I don't know what to say.
The hell happened to him. He fall off.
I don't know what to say about that.
But then who the little white dude is?
He's a good 3-point shooter. I can't remember his name.
But they don't play no D though. He ain't like Caruso, like Caruso.
Caruso is a dog.
Like he was huge. Was a dog. So you get rid of all these guys, and you couldn't expect to win no damn championship, even though they did. For me, and from anybody else who look into these things, I didn't expect them to win the championship. I was saying that from the get-go. Even in our group chats, like,
you were saying that from the start.
I was taunting Eric. That's one of our friends, a Laker fan. I was taunting him from the beginning. I was like, when they gonna start kicking in? He's like, oh, just give it to the All-Star break. All-Star break come. Yo, it hurt. When the Lakers gonna stop? Oh, that's it. Now they give up. I told you.
But this is my thing, right? I was one of the people who said I believe they could be good. I was expecting them to be at least the 3rd seed, and this was the reason why I said LeBron James. Like, if LeBron James, Yeah, that's the only reason I had a little bit of hope that this team would at least make the conference finals. It was because of LeBron James, and that was the
But
only reason.
championship though.
But and the
Championship.
guy's name is Austin Reeves, by the way. Yeah, that's his name.
Okay.
Yeah, pretty good shooter. But
did you expect them to make the ship though?
No. I wasn't expecting them to
that was
make
my
it to the
argument.
championship.
That was my argument. I thought there was gonna be at least third seed too. I thought this was gonna be good too. But ninth, we didn't see that.
Nope.
But
And I think this season especially was I'd say the culmination of why it's not good to always run with what the media is saying and what the media tells you. You have to really, and a lot of fan boys in the media too. Like, and I'm scared to point them out. Like, you know, I love Shannon Sharp, but Shannon Sharp, like LeBron, you know what I mean? And then Nick Wright, guys like Nick Wright, they all LeBron errand boys, so they can always run with and they can always exacerbate the situation. So. But I feel like even though I was a fan of a certain player or a certain team, I can't let my fandom obscure my objectivity. You know what I mean? Exactly. You got to be real. Like even I say, like, the moment the Clippers lost in the bubble, I say we got to get rid of Doc Rivers. Like, we got to get her. And not because Doc Rivers isn't a good coach. It's because Doc Rivers wasn't a good coach for that group.
Right.
And then two things could be right. You know what I mean? Like, Doc Rivers is not a bad coach. He went to Philly the next year, not Philly at number one seed. But he just wasn't a good coach for that team, in my opinion. But like back to our topic, I feel like, you know, like, ain't really much words you could even say about the Los Angeles Lakers, but a failure. It's a failure. And I think they should. What I think LeBron should do, what I think the organization should do is let LeBron walk and rebuild.
That's so okay. So that's how I was gonna ask you the next question. What should they do now? And I guess that's the answer. I guess that's the answer. Let LeBron walk. I feel like realistically, you think that's gonna happen?
Realistically, LeBron in win mode. For this season, I like you say, LeBron already, look, I wouldn't say he give up. I wouldn't like to use that term because I'm making him sound like a quitter. But I feel like LeBron, right now, he only playing to chase career record and to try and up his stats on the all-time list. And that's the only thing he could play for now because they ain't winning nothing. But I feel like LeBron the next season, his mindset for next season could be win mode. And I think the only way he could get in win mode is if he get on a franchise or a roster what could win. So I feel like LeBron can walk. I feel like 80 might possibly walk. Because
I don't think he's gonna walk. I think they could trade him. They got he on the contract still, so you can't just walk.
I just remember he on the contract. He can't just walk.
So.
Yeah, he could probably request a trade and they could get some good assets for him. But I think the Lakers should rebuild.
Yeah, blow it
up. My opinion.
Blow it up because you and Cap, hell, like you got Westbrook contract. You got and he's still under contract for 2022.
You know one can take that contract.
You can't get out of that. You ain't trading him. You can get that. You can let that
one. You can't trade him. Who's taking that contract?
You gotta let that one go. So you got him.
Only teams will take that contract is teams with really bad and they will bring some funds in the arena. You know what I mean?
Who, bro? The Rockets? Maybe they could do a Wall, John Wall or something for Russ.
And I think, and this is where one reason where I part ways with LeBron and this the mentality he have a lot. He is really make it known that he is trying to get guys traded before the trade deadline. And I feel like that sends a bad message throughout the team and throughout the locker room because you supposed to be a leader of this team, right? Not saying that, you could make moves to make the team better, but it sends a bad message because you as a leader, we look up to you. We come to you we look to you for comfort, guidance, and leadership. But you would trade me in a heartbeat. Not saying that this isn't a business, but that sends a bad message to your team because guys ain't going to play for you. Like, they don't want to play hard for you. They don't want to lay their life on the line for you. Like, that's the message you sending to these guys and to the team. And as a leader, that's the only thing I fault for LeBron for.
But they gotta know what it is though. In this business, you expendable, bro. Like
you expendable
they getting
depending
rid
on
of
who
you.
you are. Yeah.
Depending on who you are, and if you ain't the old Russ, the old Mellow,
Yep.
you gotta go, son.
To me, honestly, and I know people don't want to hear this, anyone not a top 10 player in the NBA is expendable. To me,
Well,
if you ain't a top 10 NBA player in the league, you expendable. But
absolutely.
Like if you ain't Luka Doncic or Steph Curry or Giannis or
You can't move them pieces.
or Embiid, like you expendable to me. Like
you can't move a Curry type guy.
No, you can't.
He's
a franchise engine.
Never happened. But who's like a third player on the team right now? Like
on the Warriors?
Anyway, who was like a third guy? Second or third guy, like because I wouldn't consider Harden like Harden is like a first but a second.
Yeah, I think Harden is a first. I think Harden is a first option or a 1A or 1B type of guy.
He's a 1B, I mean. So
yeah. You could probably look at like a Paul George, who's a solidified like second option. Like Paul George to me wouldn't be.
Could you
move
off of Paul Lowe? I don't know.
I wouldn't move on from Paul George.
Nah, that's about it. I can't use him. No, I gotta use somebody else. Like I can't even say Draymond either because you don't move off.
He's an invaluable piece to the Warriors. What the Warriors have going on. I can't say Draymond because I wouldn't. If I was the Warriors, I would not trade Draymond Green. In my opinion,
I'm saying you can't. What about AD? I think AD, he expendable, bro.
I don't think AD
because he can't play all the time. He don't be playing.
Yeah, that's true. But then you could say the same thing.
Right?
You could say the same thing about Kawhi and KD. KD been injured on and off for the last 3 years.
Yeah, but AD ain't KD though.
That's true.
AD ain't Kawhi.
I agree with that because AD ain't never like take a team to a title.
Exactly.
Like he
never take a team. When he had his own team, he had them. Okay, he was good enough to get them to the first round of the playoffs. Okay, but Kawhi, he could Kawhi is a go to Toronto and win a damn championship. You don't move off of those pieces. But AD, you can move off of AD. That's why they think about it now.
I have to take this is one of them arguments where you have to really weigh in winning on production. AD for the first 8 years of his career, I think was like 7-time All NBA first team. So like you really want to get like AD been injured for a good part of the last 2 years, but when AD fully healthy, AD is an animal. If I have to say so myself, when AD healthy, AD is an animal.
For me, the thing is with AD, it's just like, okay, KD's being nicked up, right? But there's be severe injuries though. Like when he get hurt, he really get hurt. When Kawhi get hurt, he really, really get hurt. 80s get hurt, come back, and then get hurt again. He get the little nicks. It's the little nicks. The little nicks. It's like, come on, bro.
That's a vibe.
Rebound your shoulder out. What?
Yeah, and I think another thing is he hasn't learned. But honestly, I can't say he hasn't learned because he's a professional basketball player. I don't question pros, but like anyone who in the league, I don't question them and their toughness. But I feel like honestly, if you look at AD when this last season when he actually was playing, his body language says he doesn't want to be there. But
yeah, I don't know. I don't know if that's for sure. I just feel like unlike the other dudes, he don't spend $1 million on his body, bro.
I don't know. I don't want to question. I don't know. I don't want to question his work ethic and his commitment to.
It have to be,
bro. Preserving his body.
I get be getting nicked up that much though.
That's really weird. A lot of questions for real. At least with KD, we know he had a severe knee he tore his Achilles. And
bro, when he come back,
even with Clay, Yeah. Even with Clay, before Clay get injured, Clay was the Warriors' Iron Man. Clay was playing every game before he tore his ACL.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. So Clay, I can't question Clay because Clay was a legit Iron Man. Like he wasn't missing games for nothing. And but in 80 situation, I still this is why I can't really go so quick to write 80 off, because the year 80 and LeBron teamed up, 80 and LeBron was the best duo in basketball.
I write 80 off, I write 80 off. Mm-hmm. I just look at him as not a good fit for LA right now.
I agree.
If you ain't available for LeBron all the time, and in these later years, it's not a good fit. You gotta go start somewhere else.
I feel like if 80 could get on the right team, but even before the little knick-knack injuries, after they won the bubble championship, the following season, I don't think 80 even was playing up to how we normally accustomed to seeing 80 play. I normally accustomed to seeing 80, Anthony Davis at 26 and 12, 28 and 12. But I think that's that 2021 season 80 was like a 22 and 9. Like,
but you know what though? Like, bro, like Jimmy Butler too though. But I think that's because they play like deep into October with that bubble.
Yeah.
And the season started in December. So like they really had no off season. So none of them was really that good. Like the dudes from LA and the Heat, everybody fall off. Look at Tyler Hero fall off. Bomb fall off. Jimmy fall off. 80, that's when he was his most nicked up. I don't feel like they recovered long enough. So I don't want to hit him with that and say he fall off. But I just don't feel like he had enough time to really get back in ball shape or like enjoy rest a little bit for the off season. And I just feel like it's honest, just keep on going now.
I mean, I looking at 80 numbers right now. And a surprise this may be, last year was 80's worst statistical season since his rookie season. Apart from his point per game average. His second season, this was his lowest. Last year was his lowest point per game average since the 2014 season. Yeah. 7 years. This was 80's lowest statistical output.
It was nicked up. You know what I mean? So like my thing is, I'm wondering if the late season, the late ending, early starting of the new season, if that had anything to do with their productivity in the 2021 season. 2020-2021 season.
Because remember, LeBron was a little nicked up with an ankle injury too.
Yeah, they was nicked up. Jimmy was nicked up. Bomb was nicked up. Hero was just off. You know what I mean? They wasn't the same.
Because Hero had that sophomore slump thing. He was a sophomore, right?
Sophomore. Look at him now.
He had that sophomore. But Hero killing it this season, though.
Carrying us, bro.
Yeah, Hero killing it this season.
So,
and I think that's another team. We can have this discussion for another day, but the Miami Heat is a team I want to talk about because I have them as a sleeper.
I have them as a sleeper, but I scared though. Like I wondering if this all a fluke, bro.
I don't think it's a fluke because
I almost want us to drop to like the 4th seed, bro, and then go how we going in the bubble because like I don't want to be.
You can't mind seeding because, like I say,
obviously, bro.
I want to point out to the people again. As a Clippers fan because automatic by default because I Kawhi fan, and last year the Clippers was the 4th seed, but anyone would tell you after the Dallas series, the Clippers were the best team in the Western Conference. And that's with Phoenix playing good basketball. But if you look at them, like seeding could fool you. Like I feel like guys keep trying to preserve for the playoffs, guys sitting out there and there. And the reason why I have Miami as a sleeper team, and I don't want to go too off topic, is because Jimmy Butler is a dog. He has some championship experience playing in the championship game. Kyle Lowry is a NBA champion point guard. So Bam out of the bio coming in his own. Tyler Hero is a big game name, and Duncan Robinson show up in the finals. These guys have championship experience. That's why
PJ Duncan is a champion.
He's a champion. So, and like I say, like I mentioned before, Kyle Lowry just 2-3 years removed from an NBA championship. on a 26, almost a triple-double in a game, in a closeout game in the NBA Finals. So these guys have championship experience. That's why I have the Heat as a sleeper going for the Eastern Conference. But now time to shift to our next team. We wanted to talk about the Brooklyn Nets. Because we already talked about the Lakers. These are the two teams that were favored most going into this season to meet in the NBA Finals.
And we had a press. Well, no, sorry about that. We have a press for time, so we can try to run through this quick.
Quick, yeah.
But yeah, what you were saying.
I think this the simple thing about the Brooklyn Nets. I think I want to put this into 2 or 3 points. And bear with me. The first point is I don't think the Nets has established a culture. The reason why I say that is the first thing when the Brooklyn Nets hired Steve Nash, Kyrie Irving said, I don't think we even need a head coach. That number one shows that you don't even believe in this guy. You think you talented or skilled enough to do it by yourself. And I don't think Steve Nash is one of the greatest point guards ever, but I don't think he has a real command of this team. I think he's a laissez-faire leader. And a laissez-faire leaders can be successful. But for this group of guys, I think you need like a Greg Popovich type of, stern. You know what I mean? But as far as the Brooklyn,
was he a coach before a head coach, or he just going right into it?
I think he was a consultant for the Warriors, Steve Nash.
So he ain't really had no real coaching experience.
You know what? Exactly. So I feel like coaching is X's and O's, obviously. But coaching is also managing personalities and knowing how to communicate with different guys. Like Phil Jackson could communicate with Dennis Rodman, Scottie Pippen, and Michael Jordan. They 3 different personalities.
Big personalities too. And he was able to match them perfectly, bro.
Perfect, exactly.
In the middle of the season, like that Last Dance documentary, like
exactly.
I love that, bro, because nobody knew that Phil allowed Dennis Rodman for like a week, bro, in the middle of this. Like how we didn't know this stuff, bro. How we didn't know this was crazy, but he just let him go for a week. And then he come back and he ball.
Let him go.
It's just like perfect, bro. It's like,
because he know Dennis needed that little break. You know what I mean?
He could manage personalities. Okay, so say you feel like
culture.
Point number 1. I agree.
And I think another thing is, like I say, we discussed it. I feel like Kyrie Irving is a grown man. No one should question his decision to not want to take a vaccine or not. Question what he should and should not put into his body. But as far as the team, I feel like the team go as far as KD take them, because KD is the leader of that team. KD is the best player on the team. But see, a lot of people really undermining, and the people like it going over a lot of people, and people are shoveling it to the side. James Harden lead the team. Obviously, and see, people like to judge James Harden, be like, James Harden never win nothing. James Harden, always come short of the playoffs. And you could attest to this because you think that James Harden falls short of the playoffs. I think James Harden falls short, yes, but I don't think he underperforms to the level that people really make it seem. Like, I look at it like this. James Harden was the lone star in Houston for a good amount of years before Chris Paul showed up. And even before Chris Paul showed up, James Harden take the Houston Rockets to 2 conference finals. That's an irrefutable fact. Without any superstar or star help.
But you saw the stats.
Look at these things.
You saw the big game stats that I sent.
His big game stats.
You can't refute that, bro.
Yeah, it ain't the best, but then I look at Steph Curry. Steph Curry have
bad though.
Not that bad to that extent, but then again, Steph Curry also has cushions. Steph Curry have a Klay Thompson to lean on. He has Draymond Green to do the little things right. You know what I mean? Like for the most part, for 3 years or 2 years, Steph Curry had KD to lean on. Like Steph Curry had a whole 9 or 8 point finals game in which they won. So where does James Harden get that luxury? When James Harden was on the Rockets, I guarantee you if he scores 8 points or 9 points, the Houston Rockets get blown. Like that's not even a debate. So I mean, but like going back to the point,
I was giving him. But before you go back, I was giving Steph Curry
a little flack.
I was taking flack because he wasn't showing up too. But anyway, go ahead with the next one.
But as far as the point we're making about the Brooklyn Nets, I think James Harden knows something what's going on in that locker room that he probably doesn't like, if I had to say so myself. Because for him to want to get traded away from a team with Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving, I don't know. And he stay in Houston for all them years? I don't know. I don't know what's going on in the locker room. I don't want to question what's going on in the locker room, but everyone going their merry way and everyone happy with where they are. But as far as the Brooklyn Nets,
I think where he was probably going to get like not as much recognition though.
Right. Yeah.
Probably. Like he too used to being the guy like in Houston and all that stuff. He wasn't.
Oh, you mean taking a box seat?
He's taking a box seat.
Yeah.
I think for me, I don't know if that's the case, but for me, that's what I feel like. That was probably the case.
I feel like in Brooklyn, this season, okay, I only can speak for this season. Last season, Harden got injured. Harden, before the injury, was an MVP candidate last season in Brooklyn. So I can't question Harden on his game in Brooklyn, because when he first came there, KD was allowed to play the way he always played. Kyrie was allowed to play the way he always played. Harden was the one who really adjusted his game to theirs. Harden really became like the glue guy. Like Harden said, okay, I'm the scorer. Try score 40 or 50 a night, but I can get Kyrie his shots. I can get KD in his spots. You know what I mean? And I feel like this season, the Brooklyn, I wouldn't even call it a circus because I don't want to use that word, but stuff been happening with the Brooklyn Nets. But for them to be the 8th seed, to your point, part of that is attributed because of KD's injury. But I think they have to establish a culture up there in Brooklyn, though. I feel like they have to establish a culture. But
now you want to do
I don't think they're as bad as the Lakers, though.
You establish a culture now? Playoffs probably like a month away, bro. You want to wait till now?
But my point still stands with what I had for the Miami Heat a few moments ago to this Brooklyn Nets team. Kyrie Irving and KD has been in championship games, and they've been in high stakes and high leverage moments where they had to perform, and they both perform. So if there's anything those two guys could do, I believe that Brooklyn could get to the finals with K. And the only reason why I say that is because KD and Kyrie on that roster, and they nuclear weapons. Like, I don't care who it is. Like, no one's stopping Kevin Durant. All you gotta do is hope he play bad. That's it.
Some nights you might can't even stop Kyrie.
Kyrie Irving.
Depending on the night, you might not be able to even stop Kyrie.
And with guys like, yeah.
So the first point was
culture.
Second point is what?
My second point was health. Because I feel like the only reason they slide to the 8th seed was because KD's injury.
Right.
But on the third point, I want to make is there's a question mark with them, because you never know what Kyrie can. You never know which Kyrie can come up, because like I say, Kyrie still at this point where you only know if he can play or if he can play. You know what I mean? So it's just a question mark for me. But I don't think they are as bad or as dysfunctional as the Lakers. I think the Brooklyn Nets right now still have in striking distance to me.
Oh yeah, they still could. You know what I mean? At any moment now, they could just take off.
Yes.
But you said the third point is a question mark. It's just
a question mark.
For me,
it's just a question. You never know what
their question mark is big old Ben Simmons. That's the question mark. What the hell going on with him, bro? Your back hurting. You never play a game this whole season. What back? Your back hurting? You kidding me? Your back? You gotta be joking. Why is your back hurting, bro? What the hell you was doing this whole couple months though?
I don't see. What? Wait, that's a topic for a whole nother day.
Yeah, bro. See,
I didn't. We can't sit down and discuss Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons is another guy.
They can talk about him. Don't worry.
Yeah, he has to talk about that. But as far as the two championship contenders, the Lakers and the Nets, I think we already laid everything on the table with the Lakers. But I think the Nets are actually in striking distance. However, I still have to put this level of criticism on them. They still have underperformed for
underperformed. You gotta do what you gotta, especially with those
they still have underperformed.
You know what I mean? So just to recap the episode. The problems that the Lakers have, from my standpoint, is the defense.
Yeah.
The attribute to the old players.
Turnovers.
Russ.
Yep.
Russ. And then
Russ.
the turnovers.
Yeah.
That's me. That's where I at with the Lakers. Is that where you at? Or you got something?
And the only thing I'd add, I agree with everything you say. The only thing I'd add is overall roster construction.
Roster construction, yeah.
Yeah. And that's it.
And then, all right. And then with Brooklyn.
With Brooklyn.
That's a very good point, bro. I wish we could have elaborated more on that.
More on that.
You know what I mean? Man, that's a good point. Because they just put the team together and expected to win the championship, bro.
Like you can't do that, bro.
That don't happen. That don't happen, bro. Like, what y'all think this was, bro? But so we got the culture, we got the health.
The health
might be the biggest thing because last year, KD foot was on the line, bro.
But if KD
1 inch away, we was talking a different thing right now. We would have been talking a different thing.
We might be talking in the likes of I think if KD hits that shot, I think Brooklyn goes on to win a title. If everything plays out the way that's how it plays out. Yep.
You might be talking too deep.
Milwaukee going to the conference finals basically I don't want to undermine Trey's performance because Trey and the Atlanta Hawks did very well considering the stakes. But I think the Milwaukee Bucks got rid of them, and I think Giannis was even injured for games 5 and 6, something like that. And I think in the finals, it was after the first 2 games, it was a sweep. So I think KD goes on. I think KD goes on to demolish the Phoenix Suns in the finals because who they was putting on him. Who they was putting on Kevin Durant.
Oh, kill him. Maybe even worse than Giannis. But anyway, it's neither here or there. So
but I think we got everything we wanted.
We got everything for this first episode. You know what I mean? Appreciate everybody watching. Like, subscribe. More to come. We got 2 more members of this whole group coming, but we just wanted to, you know what I mean? We just wanted to try it out, test it out, see where it goes. I love the discussion. Like it's gonna get even better, especially with other members. But on the topic of the podcast, it isn't always gonna be sports, you know what I mean? Stuff in life happen, you know what I mean? All that. But mainly it's gonna be on sports. And then we have the NFL. So much going on over there.
So much, exactly.
So we got so much to talk about, bro. I can't wait until, you know what I mean? Until we can really put this thing together. But this is just the first edition of the podcast. We're gonna name it DatRealTalk.
2-4-2 to the world.
DatRealTalk, DRT. You know what I mean? So appreciate everybody for watching. And thanks for tuning into the first installment of DatRealTalk podcast with your boy D Brown and Ali Morris. Thanks for watching. Peace out.
All right. Peace out.